Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report. In today's show, I got 6 rumors that I'm going to break down. And I know a bunch of you guys have been asking me, hey, Mitch, when are you going to bring back the Chucky heads? Well, guess what? You're in luck. I'm going to bring back the Chucky heads, and I'm also repping this dope Chucky shirt thanks to the Raider Nation store. The first rumor on today's show is Antonio Brown going to bounce back in 2019. Now, before I give you my answer, if you're like, Mitch, you sound kind of weird, I lost my voice yesterday on our main Chat Sports channel. If you want to see it, go to youtube.com/chatsportstv. Losing my mind, losing my voice. Let's just get back to the show. This one's zero Chucky heads. Tuck rule, tuck that. I saw ESPN. They released essentially an article on every single NFL team, and then they picked a player on each of the teams to have a bounce back year. I'm sorry, ESPN. And I'm sorry for everyone who had to read this piece of shit. But how is Antonio Brown a bounce-back candidate when he had 104 catches, 1,297 yards, and led the league with 15 touchdown receptions? How does that constitute as being a bounce-back player? It literally makes no sense to me whatsoever, and it just proves that ESPN still continues to fail. And when I think about Antonio Brown's entire career, there has never been a point where I've been like, you know what? He's going to bounce back the next season. He is rated on the top NFL players number 7. Sure, he fell from number 2, but he's arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL. And if your argument is, okay, ESPN's just trying to drive clicks. If you're trying to drive clicks, the player that you're going to put in the title is Derek Carr. Because actually, Derek Carr could have a bounce back year after having a career low 19 touchdowns, after having 10 interceptions. Sure, he had a career high 4,000 yards, but for you to put Antonio Brown as the top candidate on the Raiders to have a bounce back season, I'm sorry, you're an idiot. Let's get this next rumor rolling in here on the show. Jon Gruden doesn't like Derek Carr. Guess what I'm starting the show off? 2 tuck rule, tuck that's. Because I saw this and I listened to Colin Cowherd, and I was talking to some of the people here at Chat Sports, and sometimes we were like, I like what Cowherd says, and then there's other times where I'm like, Colin, you're an idiot. So I don't know if you guys remember this, but Jon Gruden said that he really likes Nathan Peterman, essentially is what Cowherd was upset about. And then Cowherd goes on to say that Jon Gruden doesn't show Derek Carr enough love. Cowherd was upset that Gruden said nice things about Peterman, and he says nothing about Carr. Like, I'm sorry, but Derek Carr I don't really think needs the pat on the butt. Derek Carr is actually a good NFL quarterback. And if I'm a coach, or I don't know, I'm sure some of you guys have kids out there. I hope I don't have any kids running around, but I would try to encourage the kid who maybe needs the confidence because, yeah, Nathan Peterman is not a very good quarterback. So I don't really care that he doesn't give, Carr a little pat on the butt. If you want to give Nathan Peterman a pat on the butt, sure, if it helps him not suck, I'm all about it. The other thing, though, that Cowherd goes in, he ranks his top 15 quarterbacks. He has Derek Carr ranked number 14. Then he has Jimmy Garoppolo ranked number 12. And I don't know, I wasn't really sure why he had the rankings, because when I look at the quarterbacks in terms of an actual career, like, sure, Jimmy Garoppolo has played in 10 games, and he's 8-2, but Jimmy Garoppolo has never played an important game in his entire career. Like, the dude has never been in a game that actually has meant something. In terms of yards, it's not even close. Touchdowns, not even close. Sure, Carr has more interceptions, but that's what happens when you play in a lot more games than Jimmy Garoppolo. So, for you to make the argument that Jimmy Garoppolo is a better quarterback than Derek Carr at this stage in their career, personally, I think, again, is idiotic. Like, if you want to give me one quarterback for one game, you might be able to make an argument there. But again, Derek has at least played in some big games, and Derek has actually shown me a season, for an entire season, that he's a good quarterback. Jimmy Garoppolo, on the other hand, what has this dude done? So I wanted to ask you guys this question. Who's a better quarterback? Derek Carr or Jimmy Garoppolo? I want you to type D for Derek or type C for Carr. And if you want to know what I think, hit me up on Twitter. It's down there below, at Mitchell Renz 365. And yeah, if I see anything else besides a D or a C, I'm going to be very, very upset. So make sure you guys subscribe to the Oakland Raiders Report. I don't want to lose my job because I'm already losing my voice. We need to get to 20K subscribers by August 6th. That's the first day of Hard Knocks. I want to do a watch party. And for those of you that don't know what a watch party is, it's where I sit down and we're going to watch Hard Knocks together. So if you want to watch Hard Knocks with me, we got to get to 20K subscribers by August 6th. Currently, I'm at 19,102. Also, I want to give a special shout out to everybody who has already subscribed and who has already watched me for so long. Also, I know a bunch of you guys are asking me how my grandfather's doing. It means a lot to me to know that we have already built that kind of a relationship here on the Raiders Report, and I want to continue to get to know you guys, so make sure you guys subscribe, tell your friends, tell that random homeless guy down the street who just got YouTube on his phone. All right, let's get the rumors continue to roll here. Johnathan Abram, MVP for all the rookies at training camp. This one's for Chucky heads, believe it, baby. If you've watched the show, you know how much I didn't really like Abram in the beginning. And now, out of all the rookies, Johnathan Abram is my favorite rookie right now on the Oakland Raiders. Now, all reports are that this kid has been really, really good. Heck, Brandon Marshall's hyping him up. Vontaze Burfict says that he looks like a younger me. In fact, the only bad thing that I've heard anything about Johnathan Abram this entire camp is that he needs to tone down the toughness. Vontaze Burfict had to tell Johnathan Abram dude, we're all on one team. You need to take it back a step. You know what? I like it. He's a rookie. He's coming in to a team that wants to win. He wants to impress his coach, and I know Jon Gruden loves the fire that Johnathan Abram's bringing. I know he loves it. And then you're also talking about a kid who wants to make a bigger impact. He was a big leader in college. Everything that we heard about him coming into camp was he's going to bring it. He's going to bring the toughness, and that's what he's done. He's made a lot of big plays. He's made a few good interceptions during practice, and the fact that there's all these older players and coaches are this excited about Abram makes me believe that he is no doubt the MVP among all rookies. And when you can get a player who sets this kind of tone on your defense, it is a game-changing type of player. And I'm already starting to think that maybe he's the best player that we've picked in the first round in terms of overall value. Now, I want to give a special shout out to a bunch of people who always interact with me on Instagram, but also I'm the type of person where I don't think you can get anywhere in life, and these people have shown me the love and the dedication on YouTube and on Instagram by signing up with some of our sponsors here and helping me keep my job at Chat Sports. So Victoria, I appreciate you. Trotnik, much love. Generic username, TTNMM5. Thanks, shout out to you. Thanks for coming into the studio. And then El Churro 91, much love to you guys. But also, I'm trying to continue to grow the nation on Twitter. I want to be able to spread the love of this show and in the entire nation. I want to continue to grow this family on IG and on Twitter. So what I want you guys to do is go give a follow to all of those people on Instagram and go give a follow to all these people on Twitter who also support me and support our sponsors here at the Raiders Report. All right, let's get this show going here. We got 3 more rumors. Clelin Ferrell is going to play on every single down. This one's for Chucky heads, believe it, baby. And that's not from me. That's from defensive coordinator Paul Guenther. Anytime that I hear a coach say that a player is going to play on every single down, guess what? I start to get excited about it. So this is exactly what Guenther had to say about Clelin Ferrell. He said, Cle is an every down end. He's exactly what we thought he was. Now, when I first saw that quote, I thought of the old coach, I think Crennel, when he was like, they are who we thought they were. They are who we thought they were. Now, I think there's a little bit different context because early reports were that maybe Clelin Ferrell wasn't mean enough. And then you saw Jon Gruden kind of call out Clelin Ferrell the other day at practice saying, hey, Clelin, calling him out about trying to create nightmares. But all I've heard this entire week is that this kid is legit. This kid's showing up to practice, and he's playing really, really well, and it's why Guenther has hyped him up. But another player who's actually hyped him up is Kolton Miller, because Kolton Miller and Clelin Ferrell, they're working together. So this is the other thing I want you guys to think about. We know that Kolton Miller struggled a little bit last year, but all reports are right now that Kolton Miller is actually kind of schooling Clelin Ferrell a little bit. So for some of you guys out there that were like, oh man, Kolton kind of scares me, what if I told you that either A, Kolton's doing really well, or is maybe Clelin not doing as well as what some of these reports are? These are the things that I want you guys to think about, okay? So the fact that Kolton Miller has been doing so well against Clelin, I do think is a really, really good sign for Kolton, and I'm not too worried about it, honestly, about Clelin, because when I listen to Paul Guenther, when I listen to Mayock, when I see Jon Gruden and the excitement that they talk about, heck, when I hear the veterans talk about the excitement that Ferrell's going to be able to bring to that outside right defensive end spot, I'm ultimately not too worried about it. But I thought this was an interesting question, okay? So I want you guys to think about this. I want you to ponder on it. Don't Christian ponder on it because he sucks. So who is more important to the Raiders in 2019, okay? I want you to type M for Kolton Miller or type F for Clelin Ferrell. It's an interesting question, right? So you got to think about the idea that Kolton Miller is going to be playing left tackle. He's protecting Derek Carr's blind side. So maybe if Kolton has a bad year, that could really impact Derek. Or are you going to say it's the player who we drafted, number 4 overall in the 2019 NFL Draft, because we need to have more than 13 sacks next year? So who is more important to the Oakland Raiders in 2019? Type M for Kolton Miller or type F for Clelin Ferrell. Now, I want to give a special shout-out to today's sponsor, MyBookie. So remember earlier in the show today when I gave a shout-out to people on Instagram and Twitter? They signed up with MyBookie, and if you want to get a shout-out on the show, I want you to do this as well. Go to chatsports.com/Raiders, sign up, use my promo code GORAIDERS for 100% deposit bonus. If you do that, take a screenshot, send it to me in my DMs on IG and on Twitter. 4 Chucky Heads, believe it, baby. You'll get a shout-out on the show. MyBookie, thanks for the love. All right, next rumor coming in here. Are the Raiders interested in Mike Gillislee? This one's 2 Chucky Heads, and people are talking. So I was kind of surprised when I saw this report come out. So according to Ian Rappaport, yesterday Mike Gillislee visited the Raiders. And I don't know if I ultimately like the move because it kind of confuses me. So let's just take a step back, okay? Tuesday, the Raiders made a few roster moves, if you remember. They waived Ronald Ollie and Eric Swoop, which means the Raiders have 1 roster spot open, okay? Now, here's what Mike Gillislee has done the last 4 years. And I think the only reason why you bring in a Mike Gillislee is for a running back who, I don't know, can maybe lay some wood, can lay some thump, but over the last 2 years, he's done nothing. I mean, he hasn't done that. In 2018, he played on the Saints, averaged 2.7 yards per carry. In 2017, on the Patriots, a lot of people are like, oh, you go to the Patriots, you're going to be able to succeed. No, he averaged 3.7 yards per carry. The only time that he's ever been good was in Buffalo in 2016 and 2015. Now, here's my idea. Sure, he averaged 5.7 yards per carry in those years, but it was the running scheme where Mike Gillislee actually succeeded the most. So I wonder if maybe running behind, that was the years where Richie Incognito was a Pro Bowler, if that's one of the reasons why Mike Gillislee ultimately got an invite to Oakland. Because from a talent standpoint, you can't look at what Mike Gillislee has done the last 2 years and been like, that's a running back that I want. Because if you want a running back who's, I don't know, a little bit overweight, I'll say, and a little bit can't really lay the wood, right now in their point in their career, I don't really know if there's much difference between on-the-field production between Mike Gillislee or Chris Warren. You just let Chris Warren go, and now you want to bring in a running back like Mike Gillislee, who's averaged 2.7 and 3.7 yards per carry on 2 teams that I think we would both agree, the Saints and the Patriots, are very, very good teams. So for me, Mike Gillislee to me doesn't make a lot of sense, and I don't really understand why they ultimately brought him in. So I'm going to ask you guys this question. Should the Raiders sign running back Mike Gillislee? I want you to type a Y for yes or type N for no. I'm going to type my N in the no. I'm going to type my N for no in the comment section because this move to me, I don't really think makes a lot of sense. I would rather invest another roster spot somewhere else. I don't need a running back who, best case scenario, is going to be the 4th or 5th running back on my team because if I wanted upside, I'd go with Chris Warren. I mean, Chris Warren, if he actually maybe got his butt in gear, could have had the upside. Mike Gillislee, there's no upside left to Mike Gillislee. If you can't succeed with the Saints and if you can't succeed with the Patriots, guess what? I don't want you on my team. So Y for yes and for no. Last rumor on today's show. Are the Raiders nearing naming rights agreement? This one's for Chucky Heads, believe it, baby. And I was actually pretty excited when I saw this one roll in yesterday. So according to Paul Guenther of ESPN, the Raiders are nearing a naming rights agreement with Allegiant Airlines for the new Las Vegas stadium. Now, here's the thing, okay? The deal should be $25 million per year over 25 years. Don't worry, I did the math. Luckily, $625 million that's going to be over that 25 years. Now, the reported cost of the stadium, now this is an eye-popping number, is $1.84 billion. Okay, that's how much ultimately right now the whole stadium for Vegas has cost us. Now, don't look up Allegiant Airlines because, to be honest, guys, that airline itself is not very good. And I saw an interesting stat on them where the average plane age for Allegiant is 22 years old, which, guess what? That's not really what you want to hear. So, but I will say this. My favorite part about Allegiant Airlines teaming up with the Oakland Raiders is the new nickname for the stadium. It's going to be called the Owl, and I absolutely love that. So, the way that I want to end today's show, all I want you guys to do is comment Al in the comment section below. I want to give a shout out to Al Davis. Much love to that man. If it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't be able to even do the show. So comment Al to show your love. And also, if you guys want an Al shirt, okay, you listening? All I want you to do is comment the word Al to me on IG. because we got special Al shirts coming out by the Raider Nation store. Raider Nation, make sure you guys subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Facebook. Turn on those notifications so you know exactly when I go live. Comment out, and I'm out.
Raider Nation, what's going on? Is this the #1 Raiders channel on YouTube? For Chucky Heads, believe it, baby. And if you haven't already, subscribe right here. I'm giving you Chucky Heads, news, rumors, Raider Nation rumors. And look at this, I'm making your life easier. Check out my next video. Thanks for watching, and go Raiders.